Okay.
If I gotta find the participants though. There they are. I don't see anybody waiting to come in.
There's 11 people.
Where?
Oh, damn it.
You
know
didn't
what?
make me.
Donna, start letting
Yeah, you didn't make me a host to do it.
I'm letting people in.
okay, now you are, Sandy. Can you
Okay.
see them now?
Okay, I got it.
Good morning, everyone. Can
Good
everybody hear me?
morning.
Sorry, we were having a little bit of technical issues and we had to change some settings and things like that. We wanted to make sure it was okay. Hey, Bill, how are you? There's Bill, our speaker, right? Well, for me, he's under Sandy, but oh, he's doing.
And there's the other Bill too, was
Yeah,
also
yeah.
waving. Yes.
Yeah, we have several Bills this morning. So if you're a Bill this morning,
$5 or a $10?
whatever, doesn't make a difference. I still need to check my lottery tickets, and I know nobody won, so now it's going to be 850 million their next draw. So it'd
Oh
be
my
nice to win
goodness.
$1 or something like that. When it gets up this high, what can I say? We do that. How is everybody this morning? Thumbs up. Good. I know we have a lot of people that are registered, so hopefully everybody will be showing up here soon. If you're not from Bakersfield and you're brand new, let us know where you're from, because it's always fun to know where people are from. And then we'll get started here in just a minute. Or if you're from Bakersfield, you can proudly say you're from Bakersfield too. Silicon Valley, yay. Oh, Saskatchewan, Canada. Awesome. Welcome.
Wow.
At least you didn't have to drive. Paso Robles.
I was just there.
Oh, in Paso Robles? I didn't think you were in Saskatchewan. So.
No.
I think we have relatives there. All righty. So we're going to get started as people are coming in. Let's see. Okay. Originally Lewisburg. Yes, Bill. I know, but here today. Does that mean you're going to be gone tomorrow? Our speaker needs to be finished by 11. So we're going to get started early, and we're going to push Museful Moments out today because I don't know if we're going to have enough time. So I'm really sorry. We might not be doing Museful Moments, but it just depends. So good morning. So if you're, let's see, so most of you are from the area. Most of you have been to our meetings before. But for those of you who haven't, I'm Joan Raymond, president of Writers of Kern, and our club here in Bakersfield, California is one of about 24 writers clubs in California under the California Writers Club. So there's quite a few of us. And, until last year, everything was in person, and now it's online. So we can have people from Saskatchewan and Paso Robles and all that good stuff joining us. So I love that, the fact that we can reach more people. So if you have never been to a meeting before, can you raise your hand? Okay, Heather, you're from Saskatchewan. Awesome, welcome. Bill, our speaker, has never been to a meeting before. But Bill, you're going to be thrilled because I think today you'll really like the speaker we have.
If he doesn't, there's a problem.
So, yeah, really. So let's see, I'm looking here. South Bay also. Yeah, that's right, Bill. Yeah, you said you're in South Bay. So I see we've got more and more and more coming in. Awesome. By the way, we had, my son lives in Camarillo and they had 89 degrees the other day. So for those of you that are in places that are cold, I'm really sorry. Believe me, I wish it was colder here, but I don't think we've had much of a winter, have we, Donna?
No.
Sandy, it's just been
No, but
not like
I was
winters of the
enjoying
past.
76 at the coast yesterday, though.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure you were. By the way, Sandy, wave, Sandy, this is our membership chair, and Donna is our vice president. So Donna is going to be doing part of the meeting today, and Sandy's going to be letting people in, and then during the question and answer, we'll all be helping with that. So since our last meeting, which was December 18th, I believe, how many of you, by show of hands, have submitted something? Since we're a Writers Club, we like to talk about writerly things. So how many of you have submitted a piece or, submitted something, put your work out there? How many people have done that? Just raise a hand. Anna, Bill, great. I know it's not easy. Oh, Sandy, awesome. And how many people have had rejections since December 18th of last month, or December 18th? Same thing. I'm a writer. I'm just redundant. Nobody. Good. Well, just to let you know, when you come to Writers of Kern, if you've had a rejection, we applaud you, because that means you've put your work out there, and it's not easy. And it's the one place where you can know you can be cheered for that you've got a rejection. So it's not so hard. If you've got a success story since December 18th, a book published, something accepted, anything like that. Anybody have a success? Gay? Okay, Gay, I'm going to unmute you. You should be able to unmute yourself there. Nope.
Okay,
Yep.
there we go. Yes, I published my third book. It came out the 1st of December.
Yay.
Yay.
Congratulations. And
Thank you.
what genre is it?
It is children's fiction, and it is third in the series of It Takes a Pond. And I have like at least 3 more books in the process of being edited.
So it's a middle grade, correct?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Anybody else have a success story? Okay, I don't see anybody with a hand up because I don't want to miss anybody. Awesome.
Don't either.
Yeah, okay. And I know a lot of people don't have their cameras on, and that's okay. So if you have a success story and we've missed it, you can always put it in the chat. Just click on the chat at the bottom and put it, and then we'll say it out loud. So, okay. I'm gonna turn over to Donna and have her do all the announcements. And then I'll come back at the end. So.
Okay, so our announcements today, we're going to start with our open mic Mondays, and I would like for Anis to talk about our open mic Mondays, if you are so inclined. So you can unmute yourself, Anis.
Thanks, Sunny, and thanks. Started off the year with a bang. We had a nice number of people come and share. We had some newcomers who hadn't been to Open Mic Mondays before, who shared their work, and we just are blessed with such incredible writers and writers of Kern. And if you haven't had a chance to come to Open Mic Monday, or had the courage to come to Open Mic Monday, you can come on and listen for a time or two and get the feel of it, and then decide you want to come forth and share your work with us. It's a wonderful thing. So look for it for February. I think it's February 1st. Is the next first Monday of the month, and you'll need to register, and I will be sending out an invitation to the Writers of Kern members. This is a Writers of Kern members only event, and so if you're on our membership list, you're going to get an invitation from me. Hope to see you there.
Thank you, Anis. And I was hoping that you could also talk about the book club, which is also members only, because our lovely Janet couldn't make the meeting today.
Sure. We started the book club, and we had our initial introductory meeting this past week. We're going to be meeting every other month. So the next meeting is March, the second Thursday in March. the book we're reading is, and we'll discuss in March, is The Book of Longings. I'll put that in the chat. The Book of Longings by Sue Monk Kidd. And we had at our initial meeting, we had 7 or 8 people show up. We have room for several others who would like to come. And we will be discussing the book, and we will be discussing how things that we see in the book might impact our own writing. And so we think it's going to be a great program and a nice way to connect with other Writers of Kern members, because, you know, writers have to read. So hope to see you there. There will be information coming out about the next meeting too.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Annis.
Mhm.
And so the next thing we're going to talk about is the Dan McGuire blog challenge. So every year we do our blog challenge, and it is 13 weeks, 26 posts, and it's from February 8th this year to May 9th. We name our blog challenge the Dan McGuire blog challenge. Dan McGuire was a beloved member of Writers of Kern, and he was an avid blogger. He has passed away, and we decided to name our blog challenge in his memory. He used to have over 700 blogs, and that was absolutely amazing. So we decided to name our blog challenge after him. Like I said, it is from February 8th to May 9th, 13 weeks, 26 posts. So that is 2 posts a week. And anyone can participate. So you don't have to be you don't have to be a member to participate. You can email events@writersofkern.com to join in. So make sure events@writersofkern.com to join in. And what we do is you also not only have to post, but you have to look at other people's posts as well. And just comment, leave a comment on their blog, and let them know that you saw it, and let them know what you think about it. And that is for 13 weeks, for February 8th to May 9th. And it's always, I've done it before, and I finished before, and it's always enjoyable. And at the end of the blog challenge, you receive a certificate if you finish, and you will get that certificate in May at our WOK honors. So I encourage you to participate. It is a lot of fun, and it gets you writing and gets your juices flowing. So next, we're going to talk about our board openings. So stick around for an open discussion after the presentation today. After our presenter is done, we're going to do a question and answer and a discussion about our board opening. So I encourage you as members to stick around to talk about and discuss that. Also, if you have any questions, email us at info@writersofkern.com. So make sure you send your questions there. If you send them anywhere else, we may not be able to respond to you. So make sure you email us at info@writersofkern.com. Okay, so next we're going to have our upcoming schedule, upcoming calendar. And like the lovely Annis talked about, February 1st, we have our open mic Monday. February 8th, we're going to start the Dan McGuire blog challenge. And I want to put emphasis on February 20th, which is Leslie Zimpetti, our literary agent, is coming. And she's going to talk about finding the right agent. March 1st, we're going to have another open mic Monday. March 11th is going to be our book club. So the very first book club that Anna's talked about. And then March 20th, we're going to have Mara Pearl giving your book a voice, audiobook production and distribution. So make sure you attend those meetings. They're going to be fabulous. And they're going to be very important. In April, we're going to have Dean James, our cozy mystery author writer under the pen name Miranda James, How to Kill for Fun and Profit. And I am enthusiastically waiting for our April meeting, because I like to kill for fun and profit. So in my books. So I think that you should join those in May. Like I said, we have our WOK honors. And in June, we're going to have board elections as well as a speaker. Right now, we're going through different speakers to talk in May and in June. So just stay tuned for that. And I'm going to, and if you see, it has our full schedule and links to past workshops at the bottom of that, if you have your agenda handy. So then I'm going to pass it back to Joan and let her continue with our meeting.
Thank you, Donna. So I think we forgot to mention that if you want to sign up for the blog challenge, you need to email events@writersoccurrent.com before February 7th. So, you know, I've done it several years in a row. Some years I don't finish, and there's no shame in that. You just, you know, things come up. Sometimes it's hard to blog twice a week, but it gets you in the habit of blogging if that's what you want to do. And as writers, it's good to, you know, have a presence somewhere. So, you know, try it. If you drop out or just suddenly disappear. Sandy, you've done it in the past. I know Annis has done it in the past. Several people have done it in the past, and you know, it's not easy, but you just keep going. So anyway, we're done earlier with the announcements than I expected, but instead of going back and doing our museful moments, by the way, museful moments, for those that don't know, it's like a 3-minute, I give a writing prompt and everybody writes and then we share. But Bill, are you ready to go on early today? Are you, hold on, let me unmute you. Okay, can you talk now? There you go.
I am. I can start. I looked through the gallery. I see my trusted little cohort in crime. You'll see her, Mia.
Yeah, I'm going to unmute her right now.
You'll want to unmute her as well.
I just did.
Okay. There she goes.
Okay, so we're going to get started early because Bill has another place that he has to be. I mean, virtually, and that's okay. But so that means we'll be done a little bit early. If you come in late, you can watch it all on the replay because our replays are free and they'll be up on our Writers of Kern events page. But anyway, Bill, you guys, you know, I wrote this down, but he's going to be talking about how he built up his readership through newsletters and all the other goodies. And I don't want to ruin it, but I'm going to turn it over to Bill. Welcome, Bill.
All right. Thank you, Joan. Are you able to hear me? I'm just double check.
Yep, you can hear. I'm gonna
Right,
mute
so
myself.
We as part of the spiel here, we will kind of introduce ourselves going as well. And so there are a couple of things that could go wrong that would be my fault. And that is, I sometimes talk really, really fast. And so if you cannot keep up, make sure you watch the recording. Another thing is I often don't finish my sentences because I already know what I'm going to say. And so I just stop in the middle and go on to my next thought. But most importantly is if you don't like numbers, you are going to be miserable today. Because I love numbers, and what I want to show everyone is a step-by-step. You know, this works here because this number shows up. If you do this, 3 people will be here, 10 people will be there, that sort of thing. So I want to be as practical as I possibly can so that there's a step-by-step process to it. So I didn't start off as a writer, but I did do the blogging thing. So this McGuire blogging challenge, that's incredibly useful. There was a time that the more you blogged, the more visible you were. That has changed a little bit, but the more you blog, the more your readers, and trust me, when we're done here, I will show you how to get real people to show up at your website. When you blog more, you have a better opportunity for your readers to know who you are, to engage with you, for you to engage with them. A blog is one way to actually engage with people. This is, you tell them as much as you feel comfortable about being, as much as you want to be transparent. It's totally up to you, but readers want to know authors. Of course they do. I'll come back to that. But I started off blogging, and at the risk of blowing smoke, and it's not, my blogs, my network of blogs have gotten well over 100 million views. Now we're just in 150 million pages and all that stuff. You go to LinkedIn, you can investigate that. It's not a big deal. But if you get enough people to show up, you learn how you got them to be there. That's important. Or there's a lot of people, I have to figure something out sooner or later. So I've taken a lot of those blogging lessons and converted them to email. How to, bloggers, we want readers, we want subscribers. Well, email, when you get readers and you get subscribers, they belong to you. On a blog, on an internet website, we are dependent upon the RSS feed. We are dependent upon the subscriber search. We are dependent upon all sorts of things. When you have a long list of email subscribers, that you own them, they belong to you, and now you get to talk to them whenever you feel like, and hope they will engage with you. So the lessons I learned from being a professional blogger over 12 years, 14 years, I've taken those and moved them to an email server, so that now my readers, my subscribers are on my list, that I can reach out to them anytime. So Mia, my daughter, I'm going to introduce her in a minute. She's my co-author. She's 12.94 years old. She's going to be 13 in about 2 weeks. So we round it up and say she's 13. So the way we got started into this whole let's write books thing is she's an avid reader, voracious reader. Just, gosh, she would rather read than eat. And who doesn't like to eat, right? She would just read all the time. And so we're driving back and forth to school every day, and she's telling me what she's reading. It's Percy Jackson. It's Harry Potter for the 18th time. I don't know. She just loves to read. But I noticed that she starts telling me the same stories. I think, wow, there's a lot of stuff to read. But she was getting bogged down reading at her reading level, at her maturity, her ability to read, without venturing into young adult, and young romance and young experimenting things that young adults, but the content was too mature for her ability to read. And so we just said, hey, why don't we create our own? And so we did, and that's where we got started. So we created this Growing Up Aimi series. We've got 3 good books. They're about 1,300, or I think they're good. We got 3 books. They're 1,400 pages. The 4th book is going to be another 700-800 pages or so. And I do most of the pecking, but Mia is an integral part in how well these books are received. And so I'm going to turn it over to her for just a few minutes, and then she's going to introduce herself, talk about her part, and then I want to jump into getting subscribers and engaging with them. Okay, sweetie, it's your turn. Talk slowly.
Hello, I'm Mia. I like my dad said, I co-write the Growing Up Aimi series with him. The main protagonist's name is Aimi, which backwards spells I Mia. So technically, it somewhat draws inspiration from me. Also, like you said, he does about 80% of the keyboard packing, the typing. He's pretty good at coming up with the overall story and themes. However, he does get stuck, and that's when we brainstorm together. And I think I help him get unstuck. I'm not sure, but I can assume, because after I help him, he keeps going, and then he goes into his little hole, and we don't see him for like 3 days. I come up with characters for our books, and I write descriptions, drawing inspirations from my friends and my classmates. We have a lot of dialogue in our books, and that's where my 20% of the writing comes in. When he writes dialogue, he sounds like an old man trying to be a kid, because he is an old man trying to be a kid. I fix those sort of things. I have recruited several friends and some of my classmates who have been beta readers for us. They read along as we write, and they sometimes give feedback. Sometimes too much feedback, but it's very helpful anyways. I also provide research. For example, our next book is a worldwide chase of mythological relics. My dad doesn't know a thing about mythology. Probably almost nothing. Mythology is a really big interest of mine, so I go internet hunting, provide all the relics and the backgrounds and the where to find them and the pretty much everything about the relic chases. And he ties them together. We plan to go to Greece and Rome last year to do some of those to do some of the ground research in those countries, also to travel and to just have fun, but we didn't make it. Maybe we can go this year. Thanks for letting me tell you my part in the writing process. Back to you.
Okay, thanks a lot, Mia. You can mute yourself. Whoops, you just went sideways. All right, so I want to switch to a desktop share, and then we're going to dive into this. All right, so somehow I guess. All right, here we go. How to find and engage with readers for your books. So I cannot see myself. So if Joan and I, we shared phone numbers, and so if something breaks, let me know. So this is us. The dog in the middle has no part in the book. Here's my promise: how to get eyeballs on your books. That's we've written something, and frankly, I think what we, I've talked to quite a few people say, I don't really care if anybody reads my book, until they're done writing the book, and they say, well, how do I get people to read this? We just want real people who are interested in what we do to read what we wrote, and that's where we're headed here. So I'll give you the practical steps one by one to build a subscriber base, and then 2, to engage with readers about you, your brand, and your books. I have found that we think all of our readers are other writers like us, and that's simply not true. Now, some other writers may read our books, but there's a whole lot of people who are, oh, I wish I could write a book. I wish I have no idea how they did that. Isn't that interesting? And I read this, and readers really do want to know about the author behind the book, how they came up with that idea, what are some of the struggles they went through, and all those sorts of things. Readers, ask ourselves, how many times have we gone to an author that we like? How many times have we gone to their website to learn more about them? And I think we all do that, or at least I do that. I know Mia does that. We dig in to find more about who this Rick Riordan guy is, who's this, Shannon is, and who's Deborah, and who all these people are. So readers really do want to know more about the writer. It's that old Paul Harvey kind of thing, the rest of the story. What's going on behind this person, how this book got here, and then that person's life. So make no mistake, readers want, if they're fans, and that's what we're aiming for, if they're fans, they really want to know more about you, the author behind the book. And I'm going to show you how to do this for free. Now, we all have that mindset, if it's free, it's no good. Well, we're going to disprove that, at least for today. It is free, and it's really, really good. And I'm going to take you into my dashboard. I'm going to show you live how these things actually work, and some of the results we get from it. Step number one, we need an online presence. We need a website. Now, this one here actually is not critical, but if you're going to be blogging, you're going to have a blog from which you can do that. Now, you might be doing Wix, or you might be doing WordPress free version, you might be doing Blogspot free version, you might be doing some other. But I think that you want to have your website that belongs to you. We have the website growingupaimi.com. I have billbelew.com. My daughter Mia has Mia May, that's her middle name, miamay.com. And so there are 3 different ways where writers can come to know who we are. And I can actually think this will work. I'll click through and show you that. Now, we're not going to get bogged down into the website, but hopefully your internet don't let me down now. Go. Or not. Okay, I'll come back to that. We're not going to sit here and watch that turn. Another way that you can build an online presence is through an Amazon profile or a series page. Now, I forget who it was said this. I just finished my 3rd book, and then we've got a 4th, 5th, and 6th book coming up. Amazon will allow you to create a profile page. Well, look at that. And it looks like that. Oh, look at this. There's a series. So there's all the books that we wrote in our series. If you've written more than one book and they're published on Amazon and you don't have them available in a series page like this, you're missing out on a really, really big opportunity. There's a series page and then there's the profile page. If we go here, we can go to, there's what the profile page looks like. Now, back to the blogging thing. Look here. See, I blog post. Amazon, every time I update my website or every time I put a blog up, it will update my Amazon blog page. Well, that's a really good reason to write blogs, isn't it? Because it makes my Amazon page more visible to people. So I can't get that out of the way. All right, bad form on my part. I don't know why that got bogged down. So, step number 1.
I think Bill froze up for a minute here. So, oh, there you go.
It's incredibly flexible. It does magic. There's step by step, and that gets too much into the weeds, but it's very easy to integrate your email client, we call this email capturing device, with your website or with other means that you're going to attract people. Now, hopefully this will, so here we go. This is a August 6th, right? I had 1,700 subscribers for the Growing Up Wilby, 2,100 subscribers for Growing Up Amy. So I forgot to mention this. This doesn't work for only fiction or only nonfiction. Growing Up Wilby is my nonfiction presence online. Growing Up Amy is me and ours fiction presence online. They both work. So we're going to dive in. We're going to take a look inside MailerLite. Look at that. There it is. So you can see there, Master Growing Up Wilby is now 1,900 people. The Master Growing Up Amy is now 2,100 people. And I can see that I have 600 people who are subscribed to both lists. That's interesting to know, isn't it? So 600 people are interested in what my nonfiction is, and those same 600 people are also interested in the fiction that Amy and I, or that Mia and I write. That's useful for me to know. Now I have 3 different groups of people that I can write to about specific content. If I'm going to write about something I'm doing in the nonfiction world, I'm going to send it to them. If I'm going to write about something that's only fictional, something that Mia and I came up with, this is our book cover, this is a new character we're going to put into the book, I can write only to them. But if I write something like, an intimate look at the writer's life, this is what goes on in how we write books, this is our process, I can send that to both lists because both sides are going to be interested in that. You see how that works. So I can create campaigns. That's what it's called, a campaign. And I can track how many people I sent to, how many people opened my email, and how many people are clicking on there. I can know how engaged these people are who are reading my emails. Now here's an example. You can see this 4 of 10, 4 of 10, 4 of 10. So I sent out an email. I'm writing a series on meeting Wilby. So I've got these characters of Wilby. He's in Thailand, he's in Hong Kong, he's in Australia, or wherever he's at. But if we add these numbers up, 26, so 20, there's 537 people there. There's the same group, see, 4 of 10, same group, 174 people. Same group, 233 people. And then there are again 62. And if I add all those numbers up, I will find that more than 50% of the people that I emailed in the very beginning have read this email. That's more than 50%. That's 1,005 people. You see, when I have an email client, such as MailerLite, I can track it's not a, I'm not invading anybody's privacy. Right? They've opted in, they've agreed to do this, but I can see who's reading my emails, which ones they emailed, and what they're clicking on and what they're interested in, so that I can provide more. What I also can do is I can write an email about the writer's life, right? This is one we just sent out this a day ago. It just went out yesterday morning at 6:15 to 2,000 people. So far, 385 people have read this email or have opened that email. That's useful to me. What's really, really useful to me is if I send them an email and this number goes way down. Oh, where'd everybody go? They don't care about that. That's the answer. Or I had a lousy title or something like this. Or if this number goes way, way up, oh, that's cool. That's something they like. I better do more of that. You see, when I have an email client, I can touch people's lives by visiting their email box. They will click on that. They will open it or not open it. And that's incredibly good feedback to me. Now, here's one of my all-time favorite things, I guess, to show someone is groups. I created this group, Advanced Reader, AR, an Advanced Reader group for Wilby, one for Wilby, one for Aimi. Over Christmas, I sent out the email to this specific fiction list saying, would anybody like to become an advanced reader? Would anybody like to read our books while we write the books and give us feedback on what they think? Who wouldn't want that? I mean, from a writer's perspective, who would not want immediate feedback? That's a stupid story. That character doesn't fit. That conversation sounds ridiculous. 29 people, actually 33 people signed up and 4 of them backed out already, but I can see they're engaged here. Anything over 20% is really good, but 29 people signed up. Well, that works so well. I asked my nonfiction group, 33 people have signed up saying, hey, Bill, every time you finish a chapter, send it to us and I'll tell you what I think. Who wouldn't want that, right? I mean, I want that. So I can, with this email client, I can capture people. Not only can I capture them, I can see what they're interested in and I can give them more of that. I can learn what they're not interested in and say, well, I don't want to do that again. And I can invite those readers to participate with me in writing the book. I've had readers suggest names for characters that say, if I really like you, you can ask, I can put you in my book. They say, oh, isn't that cool? I could be in the book. And I promise them, I'll acknowledge you. Of course I will. In the acknowledgements, when we're all said and done, I can print out the book. I can use Amazon's print on demand, and I'll print out a book. I'll sign it, and I'll send you a copy. Now, what's that cost me? $10 to get someone's incredibly valuable feedback. And did I say that you can get up to? Let's go back. So I have 3,500 subscribers. You can get up to 1,000 subscribers on MailerLite for free. You can get 1,000 people for free. Isn't that interesting? Now, trust me, one of the things you're really, really going to want to do at some point is you're going to want to have to pay for this, because that means you got more than 1,000. And when you get up to 2,500, from 1,001 to 2,500, I think $10 a month or something like that. From 2,500 to 5,000, it's $30 a month. I don't want to pay that. Yes, you do. If I got 3,500 people and it costs me $20 a month to engage with them, and I can invite them to read with me, that's gold. That's gold, because I'm talking to real people. So that's step number 2. If you want to use MailChimp or Aweber or Constant Contact, that's okay. You use whatever you want, but you want to be able to connect with your readers. You want to be able to track your performance. I think ConvertKit's another one. It's kind of expensive, but it does all these things. You want to be able to capture these people so that you can learn who they are, what they like, how you can do a better job. Who doesn't want to do a better job at writing? Step number 3, reader magnets. Reader magnets. A reader magnet is something that we give away for free to a prospective reader in order to be able to get their email. They click, they get a story, and they give me their email, and I give them this free story. That's called a reader magnet, or there's lots of different words for that. And so, well, how do you do that? Well, now I'm going to once again dispel the rumor that if it's free, it's no good. There's a online app. It's called StoryOriginApp.com. StoryOriginApp.com. And I know even the guy who created this. I don't know him personally. We've never met. He lives in Austin, but the guy's nuts. I'm telling you. And he's going to watch this, and he's going to, Bill, why'd you tell him that? He's nuts. The guy is incredibly generous. He has built this site, and he's built this site that people like me can use to gather emails, and it's free. I'm telling you, it's free. The whole thing is free. Now, I eventually, 10 years from now, he might, or 10 months from now, I don't know, he may be charging for that. I'd pay for it, of course I would. But for now, it's free. But I click through here, and I can see, get the story. Oh, now I got to send it. I agree. See, if they do agree, they're going to get my email address. And then I've already done this, so it's not going to work. But then they'll send a download link. By following these 2 steps, I get an email that automatically goes to MailerLite, where I can have them. And they get a link where they can download my book in Mobi, EPUB, or what's the other one? PDF form. This reader magnet delivery apparatus is free. And it's been created by Even. Now, that's not the only thing. We'll go through this in even more detail. So it's the same thing for Giant Forest. Click. There's my email, not you. There's my email. Yes, I want to sign up. See, there's that double opt-in kind of a feeling. It's real. We're not scamming people. We're not spamming people. We're not going to get email that somebody didn't want to give to us. When someone gives us this email, they're saying, look at this. This is something I have a interest in. Now, it might be a remote interest, might be tertiary interest, but it is a legitimate interest. I want to know more about this book. Consequently, I want to know more about these writers. They go to my email. I've got their email address. Now, it's my job to engage with them. So if I sent an email to someone who gave me their email address and they never read it, whose fault is that? I think it's my fault. If I send an email to someone who's given me their email address because of something they saw that I had written and they unsubscribe, whose fault is that? Well, it's my fault because it's not a good match. But if I send an email to someone who's given me their email address and they say, yeah, I opened it, send me more. I've got engagement. I've got someone who's interested. Now a lot of these people are going to drop off. Many of these people will drop off, but they all won't. That's actually gold. The reader magnet makes it possible for me to legitimately receive email addresses from people who are shown an interest in something that I've written and said, hey, tell me more if you will. And it's free. Even has created this for free. He's a nerd type, I suppose. He's very technical. Apparently, he did very well at some other. So now he's doing this, and then I'm surprised his wife said, "Why don't you make money? Why don't you make more money at this?" But he's built this out, and he keeps building that because he has an affinity toward authors, toward writing, and perhaps this is something he's going to want to do in the future. I don't know. You'll have to ask him. Step number 3: create reader magnets. I have 8 different kinds. You say, what's a reader? What can I make? I don't have anything to give away. Well, you can give away the first 3 chapters of your book. Oh, I didn't think of that. You can give away, if you have a series, you give away book 1, and then when they read book 1, oh, that's really good. I wonder if they've got more. I don't want to give away my book. I don't want to give them my book. Yeah, there's something actually worse than giving away a book, and that's giving away a book, and nobody wants it. Wouldn't that be terrible? Hey, read my book. I don't want your book. Here, I don't want that book. Read my book. Okay, I'll take a look. I'll take a look. That's golden. There's any number of kinds of reader magnets that you can write a backstory to your characters. I wrote I can actually show you. So I have how the Cold War ended. I have sample chapters of books, and I have related stories. There are different kinds of stories that, the Gimme Wolf, this is a fractured fiction, I think they call it, a fractured fairy tale. We take a fairy tale and you butcher it and make it say something you want. And then it grew up a spooky house, like a backstory too. So there's all sorts of different I'll scroll down so when you watch the replay, you can see the different kinds of readers, the different kind of reader magnet that you can create. There's all sorts of things that you could give away for free as a legitimate enticement for people to be exposed to who you are, what kind of things you write, and whether I want to keep doing this or whether I want to engage with this author or not. Reader magnets are step number 3 in an apparatus story origin app for delivering that to people in exchange for their email, where that email goes to that MailerLite email capture that we talked about before. I don't know how to do all that. Tutorials. Even he has created these. This is how you integrate MailerLite or MailChimp or Aweber or ConvertKit or whatever. And this, step by step, how to integrate your email service with this free email capturing apparatus. And he did that for free. And he's nuts, right? Trust me. But there it is. It's all the how-tos there, and it's all free. That's step number 3. Step number 4, you gotta find other people just like you. All right. So this is what we call a campaign or a promotion. It can be called a campaign. It can be called a promotion. You're able to create a campaign where, hey, here's my book I'm going to give away for free, or here's my sample I'm going to give away for free. And you search out, and then how do I do that? I'll show you. You search out other like-minded authors who have something else to give away too. And you partner up, you buddy up, you group up, and you say, oh, look at this. Let's all let's all send this promotion, this to each other's groups. And so, you know, writers of current, that's actually golden. You know, you've got how many members? You got 100 people. Well, let's suppose 10 people, just 10 people there. Each had 1,000 email subscribers devoted to middle grade. How do you find other like-minded friends? Drum roll, please. There's, just clicked on the wrong button. There's even. Look at that. This story origin app allows us to create these pages. It allows us to create these pages. Now, let's go to author dashboard. Look at groups created, groups joined. You can actually join other promotions that have already been created by other members. Now, I don't know what the last number of members, but I know it's well over 3,000 writers, 3,000 writers. Again, remember, this is free story origin app. Group promotions joined. You can find a group promotion. All right. Pick a genre. Holy smokes. There they are. Action, adventure, advice, alien, angels, artificial, biographical, chicklet, children's, Christian. Let's go to children's, for example. Look at all the promotions that people have created that are inviting you to join. You want reviews for your book? Take your book, join this promotion, and other people are asking for the same thing. You got a children's book, you're just looking for reader. Join Andrew. Andrew, he does these every month. He's got these February, March. There's March Children's Giveaway. And Suvi, she's got Kidlit for Kindle Unlimited. Are your books on Kindle Unlimited? Well, gee, you can join Suvi. I've joined hers. She's joined mine. You can search through and find other promotions that you want to join. And you apply. They say, oh, yeah. You got people, of course. These are people who are giving away a reader magnet in exchange for email. So I don't have anybody. There's nobody in my. Oh yeah. I started with 20 friends and family. No kidding. 20 friends and family in March of 20. I started with 20 people on my email list back in March of 2020. And now, let's see. Oops, wrong page. 4,600 people have signed up. 4,600 people have downloaded one of my reader magnets. What that means is 4,600 people gave me their email address in exchange for something that I've written. And I said, well, there's only 3,500 people. That's right, because people drop off. There are a lot of freebie grabbers. Okay, they grab something, they run away. Okay, grab it, run away. That's okay with me. But out of those 4,600 people, 3,500 have stuck around. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting? So to gather emails, you find other like-minded people who write about the same genre that you do, and there they are. You think, is there really everybody there? Let's try. Oh, there's LGBT. Yep, there they are. How about this one kills me because it's totally not my style, but it's totally great, right? Romance. Look at all the romance people. Holy smokes. Erotica, suspense, sweet, steamy. On. How does that happen? Sweet and erotica in the same way? I don't know. But there they are. You can find the like-minded people. They're there. If you start with 20 people, nobody cares. If you start with 0 people, nobody cares. As long as you share to whomever you have. If you have a blog, you can write a blog post. If you have a Twitter account, you can send it to the 16 people who follow you. If you have a Facebook page with 400 friends, you share with your 400 friends. You start there. And if the promotion organizer sees you trying, they're happy to have you. And trust me, your subscriber list will grow. There it is. There's the proof in the number. All right. So the same story origin. Now this is golden because it's free and it's incredibly practical. It's incredibly transparent. There's a Facebook page where these guys all hang out. I hang out there, and it's free. There's 3,400 members in there, and these guys write case studies. I mean, who doesn't like a case study, right? December, there they are. How to get more reviews? Raise your hand if you want more reviews. Well, this is how the guy does it. And I know MC Frank. He and I share promotions sometimes. Kathy does that. She does that. This group is incredibly generous. You ask them a question, look out, they're going to answer it. You don't go in there and say, hey, do you like my cover? No, it's not about that. You go in there and say, well, how do I get more subscribers? How do I, and they go, what worked for you? What didn't work for you? It's all there. You can spend a lot of time reading, but the answers are there. That's step number 4, like-minded friends. There they are. They're on Story Origin app. They're easily searchable. They're easily to connect with. They all are doing the same thing you are doing on different levels. And then there's a whole bunch. There's 51 people who said, let me show you how I did it. There's case studies to go back and look at. Then this is, I think, the last step is engagement. Check my time here. Oh, okay. So there's engagement. Here's a question. How often do I send an email? If you remember earlier, we thought, and ask yourself, if you really like something, if you really like somebody, how often would you like to hear from them? Yeah, that's the answer, right? So 44, there's a, I'm trying to remember who this was. Oh, Alexandra Tori or something like that was her name. She writes kind of steamy romance, I think. But she has a huge following. And so she asked these people who read romance and who read other genres, how often would you like to hear from people? And well over 1,000 people responded. 44% of them said, I'd like to hear from you at least once a month. So these are readers, not authors. Readers who want to hear from the authors that they've read would like to, at least once a month, can I hear something from you? So we run the risk of saying, hey, I don't want to bore my readers. Well, if you're boring your readers, it's whose fault is that? No, let's give our readers something that's worth reading. I'll show you some of those in a minute. But most authors send out an email whenever they've got a book they're going to sell. That's like saying, hey, I got something to sell. Hello. No. You build this relationship by emailing them once a month about whatever topic that seems appropriate, what seems relevant, which seems interesting, which we know now, we can find out by using our MailerLite, our email server, right? We can determine what our readers want to know about us and what about our books. But at least just under half of people want to hear from their authors once a month. Look at that. 1 out of 4 people, more than 1 out of 4 people say, I'd like to hear from my author more than twice a month. Well, that's interesting. More than twice, that's every other week. Right. You see, if you email your readers once a month and they miss an email, it's going to be 2 months before they hear you. And you give me 2 weeks, I forget. You give me 2 months, I've totally forgotten. And then on the same survey, 12%, that was that 1 out of 8 people would like to hear from their author weekly if they could. Huh. You see, it's how often should I connect with my readers? There's no one answer, but it's obviously that readers want to hear from the authors that they've engaged with by reading the reader magnet, by actually reading their book, that sort of thing. All right. So the question now is, what am I going to tell them? What do I say? Okay. Well, same group, 18%. 1 out of 5, not quite 1 out of 5 people saying, tell me when you got a new book coming out. Oh, look at this one. Tell me what's going on. One of the, with your writing process, how's it going so far? One of the things that me and I write about, and I do most of the, I do all of the emailing because she's a little girl and she got to go to school and you better get good grades, otherwise you get yelled at. So Mia and I write about updates. Well, we just finished chapter 17. We just finished chapter 18. Now we're on chapter 47 or wherever. So, oh man, Christmas came, we didn't get anything done. Boy, we feel dumb. And so we updates. Readers love to know that sort of thing. Oh, you got something on sale here. Well, okay, let me tell you. I got this, what's that, Kindle 99-cent special or 5-day free Kindle Unlimited or download kind of thing. You can tell them that thing. But trust me, there's nobody going to read that if they haven't gotten used to reading your email in the first place. So the reason we email them weekly or twice a month or monthly is so that they get used to knowing who we are, and people buy from people they care about. People care about people that they're interested in, and they buy from people that they've grown an attachment to. So sale notifications, personal info, stories from their life. Look at that. 1 out of 7 people want to know, hey, what's going on in your life? How's your dog? No, I don't know if you have a dog. How's your cat? Make no mistake, people would like to know as much about you as you're comfortable with sharing with them. Giveaways, that's hey, that's those like-minded people. Hey, he's got something he's going to give away. She's got something she's going to give away. I've got something I'm going to give away. Hey, here you go. And then if you got 10 people, 20 people, I have a promotion going on now. If I don't want to join a promotion, sometimes I create my own because I'm stubborn that kind of way. I have a promotion going on. It has 113 people email boxes that your giveaway goes to. And when you organize them, you can place yourself on top. So that's 113,000 people. If 20,000, let's see, very low number, 20% opened that, 20,000 people, 22,000 people looked at that page and my book was on top. And if I can't get people to download it, maybe they don't like my book. Maybe that's my fault. But people want to know what else you have to give. Excerpts, I love to take a chapter out of the book. If I do what's called a chapter reveal, that's one of the best open rates I get. Oh, what's in that chapter? I want to see something nobody else seen, right? And again, free downloads from other authors. Book cover reveals. What's going on in the writer's world, what's going on in your world. You can see this is there's only 7. There's probably 70 different ideas you could come up with of things that you could share with your authors. And so I'm doing a series now on the writer's life, and I just wrote about what happens when you get smacked. What have you ever been smacked down before? Yeah, smacked down. That's like, how do you deal with a negative review, right? I wrote one email as my greatest weakness. My greatest weakness is I don't read nearly enough. Well, how do I compensate? Well, I've got a daughter who reads a lot. So it makes for a good team. So I'm doing a series on that. And then on the nonfiction side, I used to be Navy intelligence. So I'm writing a book about when I used to handle nuclear power codes and that sort of thing. So I'm writing a series of different countries I've been into and all that sort of thing. So I created a series, and they grow in popularity. If they decreased in popularity, it's a lousy series. If they grow in popularity, I'm on to something. Those are the 5 steps. Got some numbers for you, and then we'll do Q&A. 83%, that's a lot of people, buy new books, buy new releases via email. Here's an email, here's a book. Oh, that's a lot of people. 84% want to hear from the authors at least monthly, if not more often. If somebody has expressed an interest in what you're reading, there's a good chance 8 out of 10 of them is going to want to hear from you. Isn't that cool? And then almost 9 out of 10 readers buy discount books. So eventually we're going to want to sell books. Of course we want to sell books, right? Of course we want to sell books. Yeah, I don't know. I think what we really, really want is fans. You know, if we focused on selling books, people are going to feel like we're trying to sell them something. If we focus on gaining fans and engaging with them and loving them and being loved by them, the books will sell themselves. So 80% of 9 out of 10 people will buy a book from somebody that, you know, marketing on occasion or frequent. There you go. So the steps are free. They work. Everything I showed you is free to do, but they work, but it's still work. I mean, it's mechanical as all be. You get up every day and you do a little bit. You write, devote time to this sort of thing. And if you do it long enough and loud enough and fast enough, it actually works. There's the numbers. Here we go. It's one of my favorite. Who said it? Who said it? I'll give you 10 seconds to put your best guess in the chat box. Who said, I'm a little pencil in the hand of a writing God, sending a love letter to the world? In the comments, go. Who said it? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Okay. Mother Teresa, Mother Teresa. So there you go. That's my story, and I'm sticking to. You know, if you want to do guys workshop, that might be interesting. If you do the blog thing, maybe we could all get together and you know, and step by step, let's do this, and until everybody a year from now, everybody in the writers of current each, you know, all 100 of you each have 1,000 or 2,000 subscribers. Wow, 100 times 200. I mean, 100 times 1,000. That's a lot of people that you guys can reach out to. Okay, let's see if we can get out of here. All right. That's my story, Joan. I'm sticking to it.
Thank you, Bill.
Now I'm ready for Q&A. We've got
okay. We've got questions. We're going to go ahead and add.
Schedule, so.
We'll read the questions to you. I do want to say that I also would like to second Story Origin and Evan. I've actually emailed him and he emailed me back. The guy's amazing. And I know it all sounds like a lot if you've never used a reader magnet or you've never used anything like that. So like Carla asked, and I know Cynthia responded, but anyways, Carla asked, how does Story Origin connect your story to the people's email? I don't understand how quite that works.
So the way that works, so in Story Origin, you saw when I pushed the button that says, are you Bill Belew, WC Belew? If you're not, log out. If you are, click the button. And so when I click to download, so I couldn't download it there because I've already tested it and it already has my email, so it'll reject me. So when I use that wcbelew@gmail.com and click download the book that the reader magnet that I want, my email automatically gets sent to MailerLite or to MailerChimp or MailChimp. And the way that's done is, I showed you the link to the tutorial. The tutorial, it's mind-boggling because I don't know how they do it, but there's an integration. It's set up so that the email, when opted in, automatically goes to your MailerLite or your MailChimp server. It falls into a group. I stop sharing. It'll fall into one of those groups that I showed you. You can create your own group. You can create a fiction group, a nonfiction group, a reader magnet. I've created groups based on the reader magnet, so I can see which reader magnets work the best. You know, which ones are the most attractive. See, that's we're getting into the weeds there, but Story Origin app does it automatically. And the tutorial shows you the step-by-step for integrating your reader magnet with your email provider.
And I'll add this too, is that, like for myself on my website, I have a link that I created from Story Origin. I uploaded a book of short stories as a PDF, and it's sitting in Story Origin. And they give me a link, and that link can go on a website. It can go in an email letter. newsletter. It can go on a website. And then when people go to that and click on it, that's how you can tell them which email server you want. And then it will capture those emails. So Story Origin delivers your reader magnet, but you have to have a newsletter through either MailerLite or MailChimp. And that is, that's a question that Annis is asking. Are there advantages?
Exactly. You need to have an email capture apparatus. I use
Right.
MailerLite, but you have to have something to capture it with.
And then Annis asked the question, is there any advantages to MailChimp over MailerLite or vice versa?
Well, I used MailChimp for a while, and the advantage is I'm relatively stupid when this way things go, and I had a hard time navigating MailChimp. Now, I'm not going to badmouth them, but they don't have the flexibility. And then MailChimp started charging by the number of deliveries you have, and so it kind of got, whoa, this is going to cost a lot of money. So you want to send more, but it's going to cost more. Whereas MailerLite has a standard, this is how much it costs for this much. So I think MailChimp, you can go up to 2,000 people, but then it gets really expensive really fast. Whereas MailerLite doesn't. If I paid $10 a month at MailerLite, they have a little button down, let me see, down here, and they have a little button down in the corner where you can actually talk to MailerLite people, or chat box. They're incredibly sweet. I mean, they're I think it's Belarusia, I forget. It's one of the Eastern European countries, but they're incredibly nice. I mean, actually, oh, let me help you, Mr. Belew, and then off they go. And I could not find that kind of support with MailChimp. So for $10 a month, MailerLite was well worth the investment to me, to have a live feedback and the step-by-step process.
Plus MailerLite, you can set up autoresponders. So in other words, like when someone downloads your book or whatever your reader magnet is, you can actually have a set of emails that go out. Welcome, thank you for downloading. Then another one will go out 2 days later or 5 days later or whatever. And MailChimp used to have that, but now it's $35 a month to have MailChimp send autoresponders, and MailerLite is a lot less. So
Right, so that's called an autoresponder. It's also called automation sequence. So I have a different sequence depending on which of my reader magnets get downloaded. So we give away, all the characteristics of the princess or something. And so I have, when those people download that, they don't want to hear about my nonfiction books. They don't care. So, but you can very, very much personalize. There's not too many things you cannot do on MailerLite. MailerLite just created a Slack group. And Slack is like a work online.
somehow, Bill, we lost your audio.
Yes, Jeanette, they also have landing pages. You can create landing page. But landing pages are only as useful as how many people show up. And now you can have a means for asking people to come to this landing page.
Any other
Come on,
questions?
you guys, ask me something hard.
So do you change out your offers, Bill? Like, so like for your Aimi series, do you change the offer on a regular basis, or do you still have the same reader magnet that you've had from the beginning?
Well, so the answer is I think I showed you, I have like 12 different reader magnets. And so there are promotions where, hey, everybody, let's give a sample chapter of our book. So I'll use my sample reader magnets. And then there's other people say, let's aim for, parents of children who are under 10 years old. So I use that reader magnet. And then there's that crossover between middle grade and young adult. Which way do I go? And so I use a different one for that. On the nonfiction side, they might be saying like Halloween. So I had a story of kind of the short stories, actually 3 chapters in my book. I smashed them together and turned it into a little book, like a novella side. And during Halloween, I wrote a series, I Grew Up in a Spooky House. And boy, it was really popular. I was really happy about that one. So I can tailor my reader magnet. I can go back and change the title. We all know that everything has to do with everything. Almost everything has a connection with everywhere. And so I can go back and tailor a reader magnet to a particular season, for example. And so I do that sometimes. But the authors or the organizers of the promotions will ask, they generally have a theme. They'll have 5 tags: fantasy, sci-fi, sweet romance. There might be, Christian, young children, that kind of thing. And so I try to match. Of course, I want to match the theme of the promotion. And so I will pick different reader magnets to match whatever promotion it is I want to join. But I'm very keen on creating my own promotions.
Mhm.
I've found, and I don't want anybody who writes romance to get mad at me. It doesn't work for my audience. I have a bunch of junior hires, for example, and their parents are on my list. Now, if I sent them pictures of men with ripped abs or something like that, I would lose a bunch of people. So I have to be sensitive to that sort of thing. Whereas if somebody who liked ripped abs sent them a picture of a little girl that being a princess, that wouldn't work either. So I have enough reader magnets that I can pick 1 or 2 or sometimes 3, depending on the theme of the promotion.
Do you put a link in the back of your books so people that have just finished reading the book will?
Great. See, that great. Absolutely. So whenever people download my books on Amazon, I have a free version. I give away the first book for free on Amazon, and the books number 2 or number 3 are Kindle Unlimited. So in theory, people could read my books for free if they're on Amazon Prime, or they could download the first book and then, welcome, thank you for downloading my book. Here's a link to get other things in this series. Here's a link to get the backstory to this series, and so on and so on. So that's called front matter and back matter. And that's a great question, a little bit beyond the scope here, but that's, if somebody reads your book and, wow, I'm going to put this book down, go over here and sign up for their list, that's a fan. And so I've got a different group where those people go into, and of course their open rate is much higher. So front matter, back matter links is an absolutely perfect way. If you get a lot of downloads, if you get 10 downloads a year, it's not going to perform. It needs to be in the thousands.
Right. Carla has a question, but before I read her question, I want to ask you this. So we have a lot of people on here that this is overwhelming. I mean, they are just barely struggling to write a book. So in order, I mean, because talking about, story origin and mailer light and reader magnets and all that kind of stuff. So you're writing a book and you're probably a couple months away from the launch. Out of everything, what would you say would be the first thing a person should do? Should they sign up and start a newsletter? I mean, I know you don't have followers on a newsletter until you have a reader magnet. So, I mean, it's like they're all integrated, but what do you think the first step should be to start learning? Because all of these have a learning curve.
The very first thing to do is get an email capture apparatus. MailChimp or MailerLite. Use the free version. You don't need to pay for that. You can get up to 1,000. There you go. Step number 2, let's create a reader magnet. Find something that we can give away. If you're writing a children's book, it might be concept art for each of the pictures. You don't have to give away the pictures, just give away the concept art and write a short story that goes along with that and give that away. So this is where it's coming. Give people something, create something that is worth people giving you their email for. All right, so if you think, I wouldn't give my email for that, well, they won't give it either. So something valuable enough that people will exchange their email for. So email capture apparatus, something that you can give away. And then I would continue writing my book. I'm obviously going to continue writing my book. But the mistake so many people make is they wait until the book is finished in order to start creating a subscriber base. And the data is solid. You want to create those in parallel. You want to start building your subscriber list while you're finishing up your book. Now, you don't have to do it hours and hours and hours, but if you joined one promotion a month, for example, if you gave your reader magnet away on one promotion per month, you're going to grow by 100 subscribers a month. Now, it's a very biblical proposition. What you sow, you reap. The harder you try, it's very karmatic, if that's a word. You get out of it what you put into it. The more active you are, the more you grow. On story origin, this past 30 days, I was looking at the numbers. I had like 431 new subscribers this month because I work at that. And but I'm also actively writing our next book in the series. So what you want to do is be actively gathering new subscribers while you write your book, so that when the book is finished, they're waiting for it. It's a huge mistake to finish the book and then go look for subscribers. It's at least 9 months out.
Yeah, and like you
depending on
said,
how-
you have 2,000 subscribers, but if you only have a 25% open rate, that's 500 people that now know that your book is out.
Exactly.
And that's huge. That's huge.
And those 500 people have been following you along as you've written that, so that, if they're engaged, and they will be, well, tell me when it's done. Tell me when it's done. Oh, it's $2.99. Okay, I can do one of those.
Yeah.
Right. So you want to do your marketing in parallel with your product. Now that's the old marketing mumbo jumbo, but you want to do them in parallel. Don't wait till after the fact.
Awesome. Okay, so then let's go back to Carlos, because I think this is really perfect. How much time a day or per week do you spend on these promotions compared to how much time you spend writing your books?
Actually, that's a loaded question, Carla, because I'm an old man and this is all I do. I get to spend as much time as I want. Right? So it's not like I have to go to work, 3, 6, 8, 10 hours a day or anything like that. So for me, I probably don't spend 30 minutes to an hour on the promotions. But yeah, I'm a number junkie. I'm a number nut. So I like to go play with the numbers. You don't have to do as much as I do. I just like doing it. It's fun for me to think, wow, I got 18% open rate this time. This last time I got 28. Oh, what happened? What happened? So I like to go do that. Most people don't like that. You don't have to worry about that. But write your book. Nothing will beat writing the very best book in the world that you can write. But I love you, Carla. I don't even know you, but I love you, Carla. But if you wrote the best book in the world and nobody knows about it, what have you got? Right? I have this argument with my son. My son's an incredibly good musician. I said, but if nobody ever heard you play, are you still good? Well, he is still good, but nobody knows about it. So I want to build an audience while I write my books. Well, that's what I want to do, so that when the book is ready, the writers they're waiting for it. In the meantime,
Gay asked the question.
in the meantime, you can build good mojo with other authors who are doing the same thing. And so you're promoting their book while they write. So your turn's coming. Well, I remember Joan, she was so sweet. She always promoted my book. Now it's my turn to give back. And it works. They do it. Not everybody. There's lots of freeloaders. But
I get a lot of newsletters where people are like, hey, here's a new book by so-and-so, check it out. And they're exactly the same thing. So that would be something you put in a newsletter. So Gay asked the question, if you've already got book published, is it too late?
Too late for what, Gay? No, I know what you mean. The answer to that question is give yourself 9 months and you'll have an audience. Now, 9 months is not a magic number, but I went actual numbers. March 2020 had nothing to do with the COVID nonsense. It just happened to be, I'm going to start doing this now. And then COVID hit, so I had more time, right? But I started with, there was spring break. We had scheduled in spring break to have a writing class for my daughter and her friends. And so 10 kids signed up and 10 parents wanted to make sure I wasn't, some fool. And so I had 10 parents and 10 kids signed up. I had 20 friends and family, and that's where I started with. And from there, from March, and okay, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December, January, 10th month, now I have 3,500 people, 2,000 in nonfiction, or in 2,000 nonfiction, 2,100 in fiction. Your results will vary, but it will work. It absolutely will work, but it still work. So the answer is no, it's not too late for your book.
You just got to start. What about, Jeanette asked, do you have tips for promoting a backlist?
Absolutely. So see, that was the writer's page I was showing, or the Amazon's series page. Well, see, I don't send people to a book anymore. I send them to my Amazon series page. And now they can see all 3 books that I've written, or all 6 books that I've written. So you can promote your backlist that way. Now, I try to, whenever I tell, whenever I tell someone I have this new book coming out, you might want to read these 3 books in order to be prepared for the next one in the series. I make them independent, but they don't have to be, right? They can be independently read, but sometimes, that was answered in a previous book. So, so I don't even have to promote, to be honest. I just tell them this is what I've got. And in theory, if I've written a good book, the books will sell themselves. I read that. I love the numbers. That, do you know how many books the average author has to have in order to start making, say, $500 a month off their backlist? It's like 16. I'm not going to write 16 love stories just so I can sell more love stories. Anyway, I'm going to take my time. I'm going to write 16 parts of my Growing Up Aimi series. Probably not. But the thing is, the backlist is where you make the money. But you've got to keep writing in order to create that backlist. And then eventually one of these books is going to catch on, or it's not. See, my biggest problem is all my books are 400 words or 400 pages long. And I can't write 16 of them. My head will shrivel up and all the words will be gone. I have nothing else to say.
You also mentioned something. You said that your first book is free. That's like a reader magnet. Your book 2 and 3 in the series are on KU, which means anyone subscribed to Kindle Unlimited can read that for free. And then, so what about the rest of the books? Are they not in KU? Are they regular price or? Well,
see, I haven't finished the fourth book yet. So so we finished the first draft, and it's 75 chapters, whatever. And so I'm on chapter 41 or something on the rewrite. And so after I do my first rewrite, Mia goes in and she checks all my, as she said, she checks all my dialogues and all that sort of thing. Then after I do that, I do the line editing, and then I have a story editor. And so it gets run through all this. I take all the beta reader feedback and I fix that. That's on another rewrite. So all that to say is probably book number 4 will probably be done by spring, first day of spring, March 21st, maybe probably sooner. But again, I'm old. I've got time. I can take as much time as I want. But when I do book 4, of course I'll be able to promote books 3. It's a whole. It takes just as much effort to promote a series as it does to promote one book. And the numbers are solid. People are very, very reluctant to buy just one book. They just are. They're more, is this it? It's just a one-off. Is this author just trying to, what's going on here? So, series will far outsell, a standalone. And one of your books is going to catch on, and then they're going to want to know what the other 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 books are about.
How long does it take you guys to write a book? So is it total from concept to publication?
It takes about 9 months.
Okay. So you're putting a book out about once a year, a little more.
Right. So we sent one out in March of last year, and then one went out in December.
Okay. And
so I probably, I could do a much better job. To be completely honest, I'm not trying to sell the books yet. I just not. Although we've sold several hundreds organically via Amazon. If you go click on our Amazon page, I showed you our first book, The Giant Force, is ranked number 3, number 4 in children's fiction or children's historical fiction or Christian children's book or something like that. And so we get these organic writing rankings. We probably have 10 to 30 downloads every day. Now those are free, but like I said, what's worse than giving away a free book is giving away a free book and nobody wants it, right? And so I've got hard data that I want this book, tell me more. I want this book, tell me more. And so I'm not trying to sell the book. I'm trying to determine whether there's interest or not. And my end game here is I've got this 13-year-old little girl that I love. Some of you got 13-year-old children. Some of you got 13-year-old grandkids. My goal is when she goes off to college, and I've got 5 more years to do this, is to give her a book series of 7, 8, 10, or 2 series of 7 books each or something like that. My goal is to give all this to Mia when she goes off to college with an email list, a subscriber list of very, very engaged 50%, 60% open rate of 5,000 to 10,000 people. that she can go off to college and probably throw away. And then I wonder why I did all that.
So you're creating a legacy.
I'm creating this for Mia. It's
Yeah.
hers to do with as she pleases. And her, you know, she didn't have to. Of course she doesn't have to. But so far she's quite engaged. But what if she went off to college and she was getting $500, $800 a month off of her backlist? And she had
The infamous residual income. You
and
know,
if she had
passive
5,000 or
income.
6,000 people that she could engage with, and she could just slowly write the next book, right? So that's what I'm trying to build this for her. Is what I'm really trying to do. I have a 7-year plan, and I'm in year 2.5, and we've got 3 books done with number 4. By the time 7 years done, I'll probably have 10 or 12 books.
That's great. So Julie says, communicating with readers while writing also might bring accountability to write and finish.
Here. I love Julie. I love Julie. Julie, raise your hand. Exactly. You say, hey, I'm going to get this done by then. I better get it done by then because I made that promise.
Self-published writers don't have deadlines like traditionally. Well, I mean, we do. We put them on ourselves. But if you tell your readers you're going to do something, that's a pretty hard. Questions. Bill has a little bit more time, but if we're done, we can.
You know, ask me something hard, and the answer is always going to be, the answer will always be, do something. Right? Do something. Oh, that's a good idea. Okay, I better go have lunch. No. You know, create an online presence, right? Use Amazon or use your Wix or use your Blogspot, whatever it is. Create an online presence. Put your series page up there. Put your individual page up there. Start capturing emails. You know, create the reader magnet. Start capturing emails. And by all means, write the very, very best book you can. And you've got a tremendous resource here in the Writers of Kern. You've got an incredible resource because you guys know each other and you love each other. You know, I'm going to plead with 10 of you to do this. I don't, 100's even better, but if 10 of you did it within a year's time, 10 times 2, you have 2,000, you have 20,000 people that each of you can share with about your next launch, about, it's golden. You've got gold there. You've got gold at Writers of Kern. By all means, I encourage you, I plead with you to mine that gold.
Another thing people ask about reader magnets, they're terrified. It's like, I just wrote a 400-page book. How can I write something else? I've seen, and I'll just throw this out there, I've seen people have a cookbook or recipes of one of their favorite characters, or a map of the town, or outline. I don't know. There's just so many ideas. It doesn't have to be another 20,000 word book or anything like that.
Not at all.
It can be like, I write cozies. I was thinking about doing a town newspaper and giving that away as a reader magnet. You know, I mean, there's just all kinds of fun things you can do. So you got to think outside the box when you're thinking reader magnet. It's something, what would you like an author to give you for free after reading a book, you know? So.
And you know, don't overthink it, for goodness sakes. If nothing else, just give away the first 3 chapters of your book. And Story Origin app will put a little stamp on a sample or teaser or something like that. They don't perform as well, but by golly, they perform also. Just give away the first 3 chapters of your book. There. How hard can that be?
Yep. All right.
And then you can go create something else that's neater.
Exactly. So if there's no other questions, yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, Bill. And I do want to add that Bill, when he heard about Writers of Kern, and he heard that we are going to have a lot of board openings coming in starting in after June, he actually joined. So Bill is now a full-fledged Writers of Kern member. So I'm excited about that. So I am gonna say thank you to Bill, and then anybody that wants to stick around members-wise, if you happen to read the newsletter, the January newsletter, I sent out an SOS. We are in a situation where most of our board is going to be leaving at the end of June. And that's exciting in a way because Writers of Kern can be taking a whole new path starting in July, but we need people to step up. And Normally when we have meetings in person, of course, I'm there, I can ask, you know, questions and people can stick around and ask me questions afterwards. But with online, it's not that easy to do. I mean, you're muted. And so what I want to do is I would like to have this time right now for any Writers of Kern members or anyone interested in our club to stick around, ask some questions about either what board positions do, what's going to happen if nobody steps up. I've had several emails, people asking me, oh my gosh, now what? And this is not, I mean, I want to make sure you know it's dire, but it's not the end of the world. I mean, we Writers of Kern, believe it or not, this is our 25th anniversary. We were formed in 1996, same year my son was born. And so Writers of Kern celebrates 25 years this year. And we don't want to see Writers of Kern just disappear. But, and here's the official thing. Stepping down in June will be the president, vice president, secretary, treasurer, Sandy, our membership chair up there, she's sticking around. We believe that our PR people will be here. Gay is our member at large. She's sticking around. And I have had a couple of people email me and say, I'm interested in this or that. So we also need a newsletter editor. We need a webinar. I mean, a webmaster. Because our dear Natalia, who's down there with the earth in back of her, she has been doing this, and she moved away 2-3 years ago, I think, 2 or 3 years ago. And so she lives several hours from Bakersfield. And she, she's been giving of her time for Writers of Kern. And meetings won't always be online. Hold on, Bill. Meetings will not always be online. At some point we'll be going back to an in-person thing, but for right now in the near future, we are going to be online. So I had somebody say, well, I have health issues and I can only stay at home. Well, if you can only stay at home, you can write, you can help with newsletter articles, you can help with promos and social media and all that kind of good stuff. Bill, did you have something?
Yes, ma'am. I'm going to sign off.
Yes, you got
And
another meeting. Yeah.
Wanted to make sure I said goodbye. I say, I was a member of South Bay California Writer Stuff for 7, 8, 9 years. You and I talked about this, and there was lots of drama, and I don't like drama. So Joan said, "There's no drama. You guys all love each other and hugging stuff." Wow, what's a hug? What's a hug feel like? I haven't had a hug in 18 months or whatever that is. So I looked it up, and when the physical meetings, Bakerfield's like 4 hours drive from South Bay where I live. So that's not unreasonable. I'd love to come see you guys sometime. But, I don't give up. Goodness sakes, you guys got gold there in that group in 25 years. You don't give up. Something will work somehow. But anyway, I just want to say I love you guys. Thank you for inviting us. Thank you for being my little girl visit. And I'm sure we will see you all again. And so I'm going to go for now. Bye-bye.
Okay, so for everybody that wants to stick around, and if you have questions, I am going to I'm going to give you can unmute yourselves. So if you have something to say, you should be able to unmute yourself. Annis, can you try it just to see? Okay. So does anybody have questions? And if you have no questions, I just want to present, and I want to give you guys an open forum for questions, because, I don't want you to be at home like, oh my gosh, now what are we going to do? What are we going to do? And if you have questions, just Jeanette, just go ahead. Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Well, I was wondering what's involved in editing the newsletter and what's involved in the Webmaster.
Natalia, can you answer those questions?
Hi, sorry, I had to step away a second You asked about what's involved with being the webmaster. Is that correct?
And
Yes.
newsletter editor.
Newsletter editor. Okay.
Both of them. Both of them.
Both.
Both. All right. Well, first of all, the newsletter is done in MailChimp. So part of what I have to do is set it up every month and test it to make sure all of the links in it work. Make sure that the people who have promised stuff for it get it to me. Get it out to the proofreaders. Make sure that new members, when Sandy mentions that we have new members, that I add their email into the mailing list so that those folks can get the newsletter. And then answering any questions, making sure it gets posted onto the website, making sure it gets posted in Facebook, all that kind of stuff. Did that answer that question?
Yes.
Also, let me add this. Years ago, Annis, you and Terry Redmond both were newsletter editors. So there was a team. And can you briefly, before you go into Webmaster, Natalia, Annis, can you talk about how you did it as a team?
Yes, that was the olden days. And Terry and I were co-editors. And so that meant that one month he was responsible for everything with the newsletter, but he would send it to me and I would help proofread. And we both wrote articles occasionally for it. And then the next month I would be responsible for the newsletter and contact the people and put it out onto the web. And send it out to the members. We used to email it out, and then we started putting it out in PDF and saying on the website to go to the newsletter. But it worked well because Terry and I had set up how the newsletter would look. We had a similar philosophy about how it would work, and we had enough sense to, if it was his month, I just shut up and let him do it, and if it was my month, he did the same. And it was a joy to work with him. So it can work if there are co-editors who are on the same page about how it should work.
And I wanted to mention also about President Donna does a lot, like she will run so I'm president, she's vice president, but every other month you'll notice there's a president's message and then a vice president's message. That way, I mean, when I was president before for 4 years, I wrote the message every single month, and that gets tough after a while, a whole message for 12 months times 4. So now we go back and forth, and it's easy, or much easier. And she will run half the meeting. Like in December, I was very busy with the anthology. So Donna and Sandy ran the entire meeting. I mean, they did the agenda, they did everything. I didn't even know what was going to happen.
Donna did it. I just helped.
All I know is I signed on like the rest of everybody else, and I didn't even know it was going to happen. So, which was honestly just wonderful because, so that we need a president or a vice president. We need someone who will take ultimate charge. I mean, there has to be a president, but if there's two people that want to work together, they can go back and forth. One person does not have to run every single meeting every single month. And one person doesn't have to do all of the newsletter. Go ahead, Natalia, about the Webmaster.
So the Webmaster manages how the email addresses get forwarded to the various board members. And that happens through the hosting company. Also, I update the website, obviously. So that entails making sure that the events are updated, that the blog has descriptions of the events, that the links to everything work. For example, Eventbrite, I do that as part of the Webmaster's job. So where you registered, that was all me setting that up. And none of this stuff is rocket science. It's just a little intimidating at first. And so if anyone's really interested in becoming the Webmaster or the newsletter editor, whether it's a team or an individual, I'm more than happy to help you learn it. So it's not one of those things that gets sort of thrown over the fence and voila, you're in charge. I will help whoever get familiar with all the pieces. And in terms of time, I probably spend 4 to 5 hours a month on the newsletter and an additional 4 or 5 hours a month on the website.
Normally that would be 2 different people. So she's doing double duty right now.
So I just want to jump in and say that if anyone is interested in either of those 2 positions, that Natalia is the ultimate teacher. And she explains everything so precisely and gives you step by step so that you won't feel like you're just thrown to the wolves when you're the one. And if you are interested and you say so right away, then you've got another 4 or 5 months of being right here available, doing it and walking through it with you. So there you go.
And
Kudos.
Carla's here with us right now. She stepped up and she's asked to take over as interim critique group coordinator. So Jenny's going to start training her next week. So Bill, wave your hand, Bill. Yeah, yes, you, Bill. Carla is going to be contacting you. She's going to be taking over as critique group coordinator. And so she'll be putting people where they need to go. But see, Jenny's going to train you. Jenny's going to, and she's also very interested. Well, I don't want to say very, she was interested in what the secretary does. So what I directed her back to say is that subtly, you know, through every newsletter that's been coming out, there's a column called What We Do. And, I haven't, my president one will be in February, and not all the people's have been in there, but we have one for critique group coordinator. I believe Janet wrote hers for secretary. I want to say it was November or December. And, you know, so if you want to know what somebody does, go back to the newsletters and look for that one column, what we do. And if it's not there, I know Natalia hasn't written hers yet. I also, along with being president, I'm also program chair, and program chair is the one that takes suggestions from members, takes suggestions from the board, and I reach out to people and I, you know, I find people like Leslie Zampetti, who's a literary agent, who's going to speak to us next month. And I actually am friends, not good friends, but I'm friends with Dean James of Miranda James, the cozy mystery writer. And I asked him, I said, could you speak? And he lives in Mississippi, but I mean, hey, you know, with Zoom, it doesn't make a difference. So, so that doesn't have to be the president's job. That can be somebody else's job. If you love to reach out to people, hey, you know. So anybody else have a question? I don't want this to seem like the end of, let's see. Isaiah, how does the election process work? Do people need to be nominated? Do they throw their own hats in the ring? Is there a campaign? So Sandy, I go back and forth on this. So can you nominate yourself, or do you have to have someone else nominate you? Do you remember? And how picky are we?
We are not picky.
Okay.
If you are willing to step up to a position, we are happy to have you to step up to that position.
And then I do want to say that there are 4 elected positions. So it is president, vice president, secretary, and treasurer. Those, right. And right now there's, in the newsletter, it said, if you're interested, you need to write to president@writersofkern.com. If you're interested, you need to email me as soon as you have an inkling that you're interested. 1, so we can invite you to the board meetings and you can kind of see what's going on. And 2, so you can kind of have an idea. But yeah, our elections are in June. We will share the slate of people that are running in May. But during the actual June meeting, we have elections. So those are the 4 elected positions that members have to vote yay or nay. And if there's several people running, then, you know, each of them has to talk about what they feel, why they feel they're qualified and what they want to do with, you know. And then the other positions are all appointed by the president. So critique group coordinator, membership chair, newsletter editor, webmaster, all of those are appointed by the president. So that's why I told Carla if she would like to step in right now and be critique group coordinator, I can appoint her. I cannot appoint her after June because I won't be president anymore. And so the next president will have to appoint her. And also Gay, you are at large member, which, you know, that's such a broad thing, but Gay comes to our board meetings. And if people have a question, they can talk to her and say, hey, Gay, how about this or that? And she'll come to the meeting and she represents the voice of our members that aren't at the meeting. So back to how does the election process work? Do people know? So Isaiah, no, you don't need to be nominated. If you're interested, you just need to say, I'm interested. Is there a campaign? If there's a couple people running, it's really, you just campaign at the June meeting and say, hey, I'm interested and this is why I feel I could really do a good job at this. Any other questions?
I just want to say that as far as the treasurer and secretary positions, I have done both of those positions and neither one of them is difficult. Obviously, the secretary position is taking notes of the board meeting and then sending them out to the board to review and keeping track of them. And the treasurer's position is, you know, keeping track of the checks that go out and the monies that come in, and quarterly sending information up to the state so that we can be accountable. And again, there are tutorials how to do all of that stuff, but people who have been in those positions in the past can show you, and it's not a hard process. It just, you know, needs to be somebody who's willing to take a little bit of time each month to do that and help the club out.
Yeah, because I started off with treasurer, so I started off as secretary, then I was treasurer for a year, and then I was president. So, I mean, along with Sandy and the people that are currently doing these things, you know, we all have an idea. Julie, you had a question.
I just wanted to ask if you guys that are stepping down are still going to be around.
We're all going to Tahiti. No.
I mean, like as an active participant, and will we still see you, that kind of thing, you know?
If I didn't come to the Writers of Kern meetings, I would be devastated. This, I mean, I've been with this group now for 9 years, since 2012. And so next year will be 10 years. And Writers of Kern is a part of me. I mean, obviously I've been president now for 6 years. I mean, I love this club. I love everything about it. And I might not be there every single month because I can take a vacation now, but no, I mean, like I said in my newsletter thing, it breaks my heart to think that people won't step up and continue what we have all been doing. I still have a critique group, and the critique group's been going on 9 years. I'm not giving up my critique group. You know, I still plan on being a member. I still plan on being active, but if nobody steps up, there's not going to be a club to be active with. And I mean, that is, I'm not just saying that, it's the truth. If we
it's just bottom line. We are sanctioned by the California Writers Club, and there are policies and procedures that have to be followed. And we have to have a minimum number of positions filled for us to be a charter. And so it is important that these things get filled. And it would really be a shame to have Writers of Kern fall apart, because it's really, really hard to get it back going again.
And this is unprecedented. I mean, I honestly was going to step down last year after coming back for a year, but because I had come back only for 1 year. And then with COVID and online meetings and whatnot, we as a board decided that, you know, we needed to keep going. We needed to keep this group going, because right now, without being able to meet in person, it would be really hard. And like I said, who knows? You might start meeting in person in July or August. I can't promise that. CWC, so far, we're not doing that. And I'm perfectly happy to continue online. But then the next president, they're going to have to make those decisions along with the president of the CWC. So, and right now, even the place that we meet is closed. So, plus, I mean, I have to say, I love meeting in person. I miss everybody. I miss hugs. I miss Anna's hugs and Sandy hugs and Donna hugs and Bill, miss your hugs too. But it's like, and Natalia, I don't even think I've ever hugged you. It's always been either online. I've never, and
She's a good hugger.
I'm sure she is. Yes, I'm sure she is. But I also know that right now we are reaching the world. I mean, we've had people from Australia and Saskatchewan, Canada, and we're known internationally right now. We're not just a little bitty club in Bakersfield anymore. And it's kind of cool. I have to say, it's kind of cool. And being able to give our meetings away for free, that has been the best thing ever. I'm thrilled that we can do that. And like Leslie, she's in New York. She's a New York literary agent. And Dean, he's Mississippi. And so I love the fact. And then when she's not in Bakersfield during part of the year, she can still come to our meetings. And Natalia, she can still come, being in a different area. But I want to go back soon. I mean, when the time is right, we can go back, but then we're going to lose that. We're going to lose that ability. So there's good things and, other things. Any other questions? I just, I want to give you guys hope, but I also know that people need to step up. People need to say, okay, I want to make the club keep going.
Yeah.
And you only step up for a year at a time. So if you absolutely just aren't happy, then you can say, I'm done after the year, But it is a good club. I don't believe we have drama. We're a family. Our board is like a family, I mean, so right now, Natalia, Sandy, myself, Donna, Gay, all of us are on the board, and Annis used to be on the board.
And you know what? I just wanted to say that being on the board was a highlight for me because it was wonderful to get to know the members and the board members and the members at large a little bit better from being in that kind of a position. And the group is like a family, and I miss being in person as well. But I do love getting all these people here together on Zoom and being able to see each other and keep connecting with each other.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder whoever, even if I'm not involved or whatever, but to consider like quarterly Zooms, even if we go back together, and that way that would be something that, could be scheduled out in advance for those who just can't come to the in person. Maybe they could come to the Zoom and we could schedule something so we could have a Zoom reunion or something,
It's interesting, Julie, before COVID ever happened, the board had been talking about, man, we have so many good people, but there's no way we're going to fly them in. It's going to cost us $500 to fly them in. And then most of these people, you have to pay them like $500, so we're going to be out $1,200. And it's like, there's no way we can get these people, but it's like, how can we bring in amazing speakers? What about having a quarterly Zoom or something? And it's like, nah, that's never going to work. Well, we and a lot of the clubs have shut down. They have just said, we don't know how to do Zoom. Our members don't want to do Zoom. I mean, we have kept our membership up, but we have lost a lot of people that come to the meetings because they're like, we only want to do in person. I understand that. Isaiah, where do you find the guidelines?
I'm going to send them to him.
Okay, Sandy will send them, but say how to get them for anybody else that's interested.
You can go to the California Writers Club. It's calwriters.org. And in the there's a tab that has the documents, and it's in their policies and procedures, and it's lengthy, but there's a index that shows, and then you just scroll through for what needs to be done. but I can send him a direct link to it.
We also have, I thought we had on our website, bylaws and guidelines or something like that on the writersoccurrent.com website that talks about what each of the positions do and some of our guidelines too. It was there years ago. Honestly, that's not the, I don't scroll through that and read it on a regular basis, but I do know that you can find them. So.
Yeah. Well, the CWC requirements are specifically listed in their guidelines, and I don't know if what we have on our website is exactly the same.
No, I think it's more our bylaws for writers of Kern and some of what the jobs entail. I never knew which word that was. So. Thank you for sticking around. Any other questions? I really don't, I want this to be where you can ask questions. But if you have no more.
Well, thanks for having this time, Joan, because I think it just really does help to have a conversation about it. And people's questions can get answered. People can have more understanding and maybe realize through the conversation that they do have something to offer.
Yeah, and you don't have to have major public speaking skills to be president or vice president. I mean, when I started many, many years ago, I hated getting up in front of people. Donna and I've talked even now with the Zoom meetings, there's that pre-meeting jitters that we still get, and, but it's okay. And for me, I don't know for those of you that have been around long enough, during the meeting, I didn't stand up there the whole time and give all the announcements. I do like I did now. I would stand up and greet everybody. Then I would move to the side and let other people come up because I don't need to do the whole meeting. I don't need to be up there the whole time. I want people to see other people on our board. And our board right now has a lot of people that shine. And we have so many members that have something to give, but they think, I can't do it. I can't speak. I can't. Oh my gosh, how would I ever blah, blah, blah. And you know what? You just kind of find your passion and you tell them, I can do this. I can do this and this. Where's a place for me? Yes, Jeanette.
Well, I just wanted to say that I'm willing to do something, either Webmaster or, if somebody needs like secretary or something, I'm willing to do something. So I'll just throw that out there.
Okay. Jeanette, hold on a second. Are you able to come to the board meetings?
Are they on Zoom?
Yeah, everything's on Zoom. But
okay, yes, I can come on Zoom.
Okay, they're on the first Tuesday of the month at 9:30 in the morning.
First Tuesday of the month. Okay.
I mean, what I'm going to do is I'm going to, I don't think we have, what's your last name, Jeanette?
Green, like the color.
Okay. Because I was going to write down Jeanette and I'm like, oh gosh, what if there's more than one Jeanette? Okay. And I know, Carla, we're going to send you a invitation. And the thing is if you come to the next board meeting, then you can kind of see what goes on and maybe you'll get an idea of, something. And you don't have, it's kind of like declaring your major. You don't have to do it the first year in college. You just kind of, you can think about it, Somebody else had a question, Julie.
So you have,
you want to do something, you want to step up.
I do, but I'm going, how can I go to the board meetings when I'm at my job at 9 a.m.?
So for that, this is my suggestion.
Yes.
So remember, I set the board meetings this year for 9:30 on the first Tuesday. The next president might set them for 7 o'clock on a Tuesday night. This is just what our board has decided. Yeah. And we need a quorum at our board meetings. So we need, president, vice president. We need the secretary. Secretary has to be at the board meetings because they need to take the notes. And, but there's been times when Sandy didn't show up as membership chair. There's been times when our treasurer hasn't shown up because she had to work. But she will get all the, thank you, what are they called?
Reports.
Thank you, reports done. She'll send them to the board right before the meeting. So then I will read the treasurer's report. So you need to be able to be available, like depending on what you do. If you're newsletter editor, then you would definitely need to give us a report like, okay, I've gotten these 3 articles in, I'm still waiting for this one, this is the deadline. But if you can't come to the meeting, you know, but like I said, starting in July, that board is going to decide what's best for them.
And
Okay.
on the, you know, the what ifs, we have had instances where Janet wasn't available for whatever reason, and I've taken the notes, you know, so that's, you know, that's where we help each other out.
Right.
So
But I mean, you do need to have a secretary at the meetings for the most part.
Yes.
And also
You do?
secretary will send out, will send emails and thank you cards. I mean, we have Stephanie that does almost all of our thank you cards and condolence cards and congratulations cards, but secretary does send out some email. Who was going to ask a question?
I was just going to say too that are you still recording the
No.
board meeting? Okay.
No, I stopped recording.
Do you want me to stop recording?
Oh, no, not right now. I want to keep this recorded for any members that might be watching it, you know, later so they can see. Gay, did you have a question?
That was my question. Were we still recording the board meetings?
No. I stopped recording because people weren't showing up and said they'd watch it later. And it's like, no, I need you here. So, but see, Janet does send out within a few days a complete overview. She sends out the minutes of the meeting. So if you miss the meeting, you can pick it up in the minutes. You know, recording is not that hard, but it's not just recording. It's recording, then you know, uploading and then sending it out. I mean, it was just a little bit more, and I didn't want to do it anymore.
Well, you are
I'm sorry, that's the truth.
I didn't want to do it.
You know, but mostly because people stopped showing up. They're like, well, we'll just watch it later. And I'm like, no. So Julie, if you're interested, you can't
Email
be
John.
What?
Email
Yeah,
John.
email.
No,
Well-
I was gonna just you can call in sick. No, I'm kidding. Don't call in sick. Just think about the different positions, you know, keep in touch. See if
Rather
you-
retire, right?
That's what I did.
yeah. And Bill, we still want you to host a critique group, but you know, you don't have to host it with Zoom. All you have to do is just get on there and make sure everybody else is there. See, it's not that hard with Zoom. So I'm gonna keep giving you a bad time, Bill, because I know that you could do it. I know that you could, you know.
My big challenge was all the members either dropped out, one for health reasons, 2 moved away. So it's pretty hard to have a critique group and one of them does not have computer access.
Well, now since they're all on Zoom,
It became
and-
kind of really awkward, and the ones that moved away, I've not been able to get any response or contact from them through the emails that I have.
well, we have
So-
several people that write the same genre as you do, and if nobody else wants to step up, we were going to ask you.
I think we need to create a new genre called crazy and insane. No, I'd be glad to work with them. It's just,
Okay.
like I said, the group I had fell apart, and they were not willing to Zoom this past year.
Mhm.
So as a result, trying to instigate them back into Zoom this year, I gave up on it. You know. that's
Yeah,
really-
and don't worry about it. You know, we're going to move forward. I mean, the group that I've had for the last 9 years, I guarantee you that nobody in the group today is the same ones that were in it 9 years ago. There's been huge changes. I mean, it was way back in the day. You know, most of those people have moved away. So groups do not usually stay the same for years and years and years. Although Annis, I think you guys had one of the groups that stayed together for the longest time.
We did. We had a really nice long run, and we kept the same group, except when somebody did, well, I'll just put it this way. We had one member who passed away, and then somebody else came into the group. Then she moved away, but she Zoomed in. Well, actually, we weren't Zooming then. We were doing Skype back in those days. So she'd Skype in to the meeting. Somebody'd have their computer up and it was like she was there. So there can be accommodations, but if people don't have access or are unwilling to use the technology we have, then, you know, there are other people to step in. But we call ourselves the classic group because once I joined in 2006 and we had critique groups then, and then they just all went away for some reason. And there were no critique groups for a long time. But before Joan became president, we had Dana Martin, and Dana started critique groups again. And I was in the first group that there was one critique group, and there were a bunch of us who would meet. And so we called ourselves the Classics because we were the first group back, and we stayed as a critique group up until about 3 years ago, maybe, or so. I can't remember now. Time flies. But anyway, we lasted a long time. I got
Sorry, son-in-law.
some wonderful friendships and relationships out of the critique group, even though sometimes we were telling each other, no, I don't like that. No, you know, yeah, or this really needs to be beefed up. Even though we were giving each other our frank opinions, we developed some great relationships.
That's good. And Julie, because you're interested, I made a note that we will record the next board meeting and we get that to you.
Oh,
Just so you can see one board meeting. I mean, you know, I probably am not going to do it every single time, but just to kind of give you an eye. Natalia, Donna, you know, we can all work it out where we record it and get it to you. So,
thank you.
And it's much more fun when we get to have board meetings in person because then
Oh,
there's
God.
food.
Yeah, there's lots of food. So much food.
I just have a fear of commitment.
You have a fear of commitment. Well, can you commit to something for a year to make sure a 25-year-old writing
Oh,
club?
no guilt.
I'm a writer. What can I say? Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's okay, really.
It's a year. It's a year. Anyway, I don't want to push anybody. The thing is you got to love what you're doing. And, you know, I mean, obviously the people on the board know that my heart's in Writers of Kern, and that's why I've stayed with it so long and been on the board for so many years. And it's not that my heart's not in it. It's just my body's not in it anymore. I mean, I have chronic fatigue syndrome. So it's very, very difficult for me to continue to do everything I'm doing. So I'm stepping down and I need to write. I really need to get right. Yes, there will always be snacks. That Janet and Sandy was bringing like meals and things like that. So,
Well,
I'm not complaining. I'm saying
I used to cook for 6, you know, and now I cook for 2, so I have to share it with somebody.
Bribery. Well, that's Bill. That's next. You know, that's for the next group that meets in person. I don't know what's going to happen with that. So anyway, you just have to give your menu choices to Sandy because she is staying on the board. So hint, hint. All right, everybody. It's a little bit past because I wanted to have this over by 11:15. Thank you again, Donna. I'm going to stop recording if you want to stop.
Okay.